Hello. The purpose of this video is to solve the PET class programming problem from your textbook. So here's the problem as given, and we are to write a class named PET, which should have the following attributes. We need a name, we need an animal type, and we need an age. Now remember from our studies in earlier chapters in the textbook, these are double underscores. Then we're going to need to set up a class, a PET class, and have with an init method that creates the attributes. And you need the following methods. And you might remember, so this is a set, so we're going to be assigning values to the name field. And the next one is a set animal. We're going to assign values to the animal type. So you can see that with the set, we're going to be assigning. So we've got set name, we've got set animal, we've got set age, and you can see they're going to be assigning values. Then we're going to have three gets. So the gets are going to be the accessor method. So the get, you'll find the word returns values from the name field. And the get animal type will return value from the animal type field. And the get name will return the age. So these are called your accessor methods right here. And these first three are called your mutator methods. Okay. So that's a typical data structure you'll find throughout most programming languages. So once you've written the class, we want to write a program that creates an object of the class and prompts the user to enter the name, type, and age of his or her pet. The status should be stored in the object's attributes. So that means that we're going to be storing the name in the name field. We're going to be storing the animal type in the double underscore animal type field, and we're going to be storing the age in the double underscore age field. And then later we will also use the objects methods to retrieve the data and put it on the screen. Okay. So these are the mutators. These are the accessors. So we're going to use the objects assessor methods to retrieve the pet's name, type, and age on the screen. So we're going to be getting the name and getting the animal type and getting the age from these here. All right. So that's what we're looking at now. This is not totally a created class assignment because we've provided most of the structure that you will need right here. So really what we're just checking is to see that you can set up all the parts you need by using this structure here. So let's see how we would do that. So let's get into some programming code here. So the pet class, now notice that I used a capital P for pet. Okay, and that's very important that you remember that's a capital P right there. All right, so we're setting up a class called pet, which was the assignment, and we're going to have our init method here, and we're going to pass it the name, the animal type, and the age. And of course, for methods, you have to have self as the first argument. That's a requirement. Okay, so these of course are double underscores here, right before the init and right after the init. So we're defining our init method here. So and so the purpose of the init method is to allow the user to assign name to the name method and assign animal type to the animal type method and assign age to the age method. Okay, so that's where those assignments are made. And then we're going to create those. So now here's the set name right here. Here's the set name method, and it's going to receive name from self up here, and right there is name. So you need to draw those connections, and this is where self name, where name is actually assigned to self name. And very similar structure here for the animal type. We've got self and the animal type we passed in, and animal type gets assigned to self animal type. And we'll pass in age, and this method right here assigns age to the self age up here. Okay, and that makes the mutators, that sets up the mutators. Now let's take a look at the accessors, and we're going to have the get name self, and it's going to look very similar to this, but we're going to be returning instead of setting, right? We're going to be returning. So we're setting them here, but we're returning them here, okay, in the accessors. So we'll do the similar thing for the animal type and the similar thing for the age. Notice we're returning those. So that's the typical structure you will see in a class setup in most languages. And in Python, we've got the setters that are equals, right? And we've got the other methods here that are doing the return. So there's 3 of each, okay? So that concludes setting up the class. Now so that's part of the assignment. Now we've got to save this. Now I'm going to save this off onto the hard drive, and I'm going to call it pet py. Up here you see my name. I've got the word video there because I'm doing a video right now. But I've got another copy of this file out there, and it's called pet.py. And it's very important that you have a file on your hard drive in the same folder that we're going to write our program in, and it needs to be called pet.py. Okay, so it's very important that you save this, what you see on the screen here, as pet.py. Okay, so having said that, now let me switch over to how we'll write the program to use that class we wrote. Okay, so the first thing you will see is import pet. So remember, when you do an import, you refer to the file, and it's called pet.py on the hard drive, but we don't mention the py here. So this assumes that pet.py is out there and it's in the correct folder, which is the folder where this program will live. Okay, for my computer, it's drive C, program files, Python 311, and right here, again, I've got some stuff there because I'm writing this video right now, but this would probably be called pet demo or something like that. Pet main or something like that would typically be what this would be called. Okay, so I'm going to import pet, and then I'm going to get the pet's name, type, and age. And that's just the basic Python programming here. I'm just using an input statement to get the name of the animal from the user, and then get the animal type, whether it's dog, cat, or whatever, and then get the age. So there's nothing new there. Now we're going to create an instance of the pet class, so we're going to be using what we have out there on the hard drive. So what's going on here, we're going to create an instance that we can use in this particular program of a structure that was created possibly by someone else, but we're going to use that structure, that data structure. We're going to reference it right here. This is an imported data structure or imported library, so this is the reference to it here. And inside that file, remember, we capitalized pet inside that file, and we're going to set up a name, an animal type, and an age, and we're going to pass that in from what the user input. We're going to pass that into our copy of my pet, Okay, so now we're going to print that information that was entered by retrieving it from the class. So we're going to print the pet name. So we're not just going to print. It would be easy to just print name here, but that's not what we're learning. We don't want to print name here. We want to print my pet, which is this animal right here, my pet, and we want to use that instance of the class that we created and use the get name method to pull what we typed in from above. So this proves that it was actually stored in the class by doing it this way. So sometimes students will send this in, and what they'll have here is name. This would not be, if you had name here, although it would work and print fine, it would not show the teacher that you understand how to use a class, okay? So it would be considered incorrect for that to simply just be name right here. And the same thing here for animal type. If this were just animal type, this would be, you would not be showing that you know how to use a class. So right here, we're going to get we're going to call the instance of the class, and then we're from the get method of the animal type in there, we're going to get what was typed in above. And we have one more line to do. And that pretty much concludes it. All right, so let's go ahead and run this now and see how everything works. So you can see I've run it before. Spot was my dog's name, so I'll do that again. I told the class that Spot was a dog, and I told the class that Spot was 3 years old. And this was returned, but it's important that you understand how this was returned right here by calling the instance of the class and the method within the class where the information was stored. Okay, I hope that clears up any issues you might have had in understanding classes, and I hope you're enjoying programming in this class. And this concludes the PET class programming problem.